Mate, when it rains, it pours. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And it is like buses at the moment, isn't it? Nothing when you're expecting it, and then they all come along at once. David Ornstein has announced that Joao Pedro has agreed a 7-year deal to sign with Chelsea Football Club. I'm only just recovering from the Jamie Gittins news, and then this comes out at almost the same exact kind of time in the same exact kind of fashion. It's nuts. But I am buzzing about this one. There are so many reasons why this is a good move. Let's get into some of those. So we'll start with the price. In excess of £50 million, right? That's all that's been said so far. We might not ever hear anything more than that. But if he signed a 7-year deal, we know we can amortise that deal over 5 years. So minimum, we're looking at paying 10 mil a year on the books for Joao Pedro. That's not bad. That's essentially what we paid for Neto, who's obviously doing really well on the right. And it's a lot less than we paid for Mykhailo Mudryk. And the less said about him, the better. But I am not concerned that we've got another Mykhailo Mudryk on our hands with Joao Pedro. And there are lots of reasons to assume that won't be the case. And that isn't even yet to mention the craziest thing about this whole deal is that supposedly he's going to join up with the Club World Cup squad. So providing he passes his medical, which is the same situation we're still in with Jamie Gittins, I think, we could see Joao Pedro lining up for Chelsea in like 5 days against Palmeiras in America. Madness. Absolute madness. This transfer window is pulling me all over the place emotionally, man. I'm struggling to keep up, but after the win last night, I'm really buzzing, and then to be able to sit down and talk about this kind of news, oh man, yes. I don't care about winning transfer windows anymore, right? That for me is like a thing. It just never works. I don't care about winning transfer windows. Liverpool have won the transfer window, if we're even going to have that conversation. They are absolutely smashing it. And I was starting to get really concerned that we were going to fall behind. City have strengthened a lot. Arsenal have started to strengthen. Liverpool are looking like they want to go back in for the title again next season. And with basically only signed Liam Delap and a few youngsters that we've added to the team, things were starting to look a little bit, but the last couple of days have put rest to that. We are filling holes in the squad, first with Jamie Gittins, and now with 23-year-old Brazilian Brighton left-sided attacker, Joao Pedro. So let's talk a little bit about Joao Pedro's player profile. Tactically, Joao Pedro fills a hole that we need, especially in this tournament. In the last few games, we've been putting Noni Madueke and even Cole Palmer out on the left side. And although Noni Madueke was starting to look okay, not good enough, and Cole Palmer really did not look happy in that spot yesterday, so I hope that is an experiment we even try and continue. We are desperate for a proper left-sided, right-footed winger to fill that spot and complete the balance of our attack. The other excellent thing about Joao Pedro is he is comfortable playing as a striker as well. He's not just a winger, and he's not a Christopher Nkunku type player as well, who functions the best in that little pocket of space but nowhere good kind of outside it. He can play up top as a proper centre-forward, and he can play as a winger, and he does both very comfortably. I still don't know why we never tried Jackson there, especially since having Liam Delap in the team, with no proper left winger to put out on that spot. It seemed like an opportunity to give Jackson a chance out there, and he's kind of looked good in that position the few times that he's played it. And I'd be interested to see whether there's much of a difference, between the way Joao Pedro plays and the way Jackson plays. But you got to think this might not look good for Nicholas Jackson. Disciplinary issues are becoming a little bit too common with the striker to just be ignored at this point. Apparently, Maresca internally is furious about Jackson. Obviously, they're never going to come out and say, "Oh, I'm sick of this guy." Some reports have intimated that Jackson is losing the faith of the Chelsea manager and is no longer seen as one of the untouchables. And when you get in a guy like Joao Pedro in, that, what this says to me now is Liam Delap's going to be the guy. Joao Pedro is going to be another option if we need something different, or he's going to be able to fill in that role. And obviously with Jamie Gittins now, we're just stacked. We're getting ourselves stacked. So, Joao Pedro brings another thing that we all love, and it's starting to look like this marks an evolution in Blue Coast's strategy of buying young players. He has got Premier League experience. Now, I know it's a bit of an intangible thing and it doesn't always matter, but you got to think it matters a little bit, right? We have not been buying players with Premier League experience for such a long time, and look at, a really good example of this is Man United. The only player they've bought in like the last 3-4 years that has Premier League experience is Mason Mount, and they are not doing well. They've gone out and signed all these players, some that are young and got loads of potential, some that are supposed to be really good in their positions in their own respective leagues and countries, but none of them are working out. Mason Mount looks like he can do a job for United, but he spent a lot of time injured and struggling for form, so that's not really a fair comparison. We've been doing something similar. We've not been dipping into the Premier League, and that's what you need to do when you're trying to work your way up this league, right? You need to look around you and say, who's playing really well, who wants a better opportunity, and who can add something to our team from the league that we're in, because it's just a bit less of a gamble, isn't it? Like, it's always a gamble buying a player. It's a gamble buying a player that's young. It's a gamble buying a player from another league, even if he scored a lot, because things don't always translate. There's still a gamble in a player just changing teams. Even going from one team to another in the Premier League doesn't always work. The likes of Alexis Sanchez moving from Arsenal to Man United, for instance, you would have just assumed that that would have worked, but it didn't. And, you know, there's obviously a lot of reasons that play into these kind of things. But Joao Pedro doesn't feel like that kind of move. Between getting Liam Delap and Joao Pedro, two Premier League attackers with Premier League experience and Premier League numbers, things are looking good. Let's have a little look at Joao Pedro's numbers over the last few seasons he's played for Brighton. So over the last 2 seasons combined, Joao Pedro's got 18 goals and 9 assists. And in the 23-24 season, he managed 6 goals in the Europa League as well. So for a 23-year-old, which is the same age as Cole Palmer, same age as Jackson, he fits that profile as well. He's got great numbers in the league that we're looking to put him in. And again, it's for a team that haven't exactly been smashing it out of the park. So for instance, a la Liam Delap, coming from a relegated Ipswich side but getting 12 goals, you would have to think with the likes of a Cole Palmer, a Neto, a Caicedo, and a Madueke, and a Cucurella, and a Reece James, all of these guys around him, these guys can not only replicate their previous form, they can elevate it too. Joao Pedro scored 10 goals last season. We could be looking at 13 to 15 this season. Liam Delap scored 12. Maybe we're looking at 18 to 20 goals if we're really lucky and the season goes well. But there are lots of reasons to think it will. So yeah, man, personally, for me, I'm buzzing about this one. I like the idea of Joao Pedro before. What I do find interesting is the last time I talked about Joao Pedro, it was supposedly going to involve a swap with Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Now, that hasn't been mentioned at all in the report, so that's probably not going to happen, and I still think we're going to sell Kiernan Dewsbury Hall to someone else. So we're just laying out the money for him. That's going to be 10 to 12 mil, depending on the final price, 10 to 12 mil a year on our books, which is good for a 23-year-old player who ultimately will probably get sell-on value for if we happen to sell him. But here's hoping he just becomes the man. There were some worries before because also one of the last times I talked about Joao Pedro, supposedly he wanted guaranteed game time. And I'm never a big fan of that concept. I talked about it a bit with Jordi Petrovic recently. Football is a game of opportunities and chances. You can't be guaranteed game time. What I said last time was if Jamie Gittins is playing better than Joao Pedro, then Jamie Gittins plays. And that needs to be the motivation for Joao Pedro to go in and be better again. If footballers can push each other to keep getting better and still, do well and earn the big bucks by hitting their numbers or whatever, that should be how it is. Oh, wicked. Oh, man. Yesterday was obviously such an emotional roller coaster. Coming out of the Jamie Gittins news that I literally made my video just before the game started, then watching the game and that being the absolute emotional spectacle that it was, taking the day off to, okay, going to chill out a little bit. Obviously, I put a video out earlier today and now I'm sat down and I'm here again because things are happening, but they are good things. They are all really good things. The game against Palmeiras is going to be really interesting for a number of reasons. Brazilian teams are doing really well in this competition. They are mid-season and they are used to this heat. So that is instantly 2 advantages that they have over the rest of the teams. We're finally going to get to see Esteval Willian play and we're going to get to micro-analyse him because we love to do that, don't we? And it's not often because normally you don't get to see the players that you've loaned out to another club play against you because in the Premier League, that's against the rules. The one time that there was an exception to that was when Frank Lampard was the manager at Derby and he had Mason Mount in the team and he'd gone to Chelsea and said, we had like a Carabao Cup game, I think it was. They were still in the Championship at this point. And Frank Lampard had asked Chelsea, can Mason Mount play in this game? And we said yes. Other than that, loan players don't get to play against their parent clubs. So to be able to watch Esteval Willian, again, and you got to think he's really going to want to prove himself because he's like, I'm going to be in that team next year. He's going to be looking at Pedro Neto and he's being like, I'm taking your spot, mate. I'm taking your spot. And he's got an opportunity to prove it and prove to our manager that he is worthy of a shot in this team straight away when he comes in. And the other interesting thing is maybe Joao Pedro played on the left for that game as well, and that's unpredictable, isn't it? Because obviously when teams are doing build-ups to games, they're looking at how teams have played before and who their danger men are, and if we've got a brand new guy that absolutely no one was expecting, they're only going to be able to look at him as he played for Brighton. So it's going to be really difficult to prepare for that if they're saying, oh yeah, okay, so this left winger, this is what he did at Brighton, but we don't know if this is what he's going to do in a Chelsea team, because that might just really throw him off guard and he might end up having a spectacular debut. We can but hope, right? So, wicked. Absolutely buzzing. I'm loving that this new look attack is really starting to shape up. Liam Delap up top, Gittins, Joao Pedro on the left, and Joao Pedro able to play up top as well. If Jackson comes back, he's going to have a lot to prove. Neto is starting to solidify himself as that guy for the right wing spot. Madueke is probably just going to go, isn't he, at this point? Because with Esteval Willian coming in and him being that much, it's crazy, isn't it? Madueke's only like 22, 23, but Esteval Willian's 18. So the only other player that I've seen us linked with now, I guess, is Mohamed Kudus. And I guess you would suppose that if he comes in, that is going to be to challenge Cole Palmer for that centre attacking spot, because the rest of the spots are looking pretty full right about now. But also here's hoping that these new players can get the best out of Cole Palmer, because we've seen what he can do when he's feeling good. And if he's not being farmed out to the left or putting balls through to people like Nicholas Jackson, who are scuffing them and wasting loads of chances, maybe we can start to see the best of Cole Palmer again as well. Oh, I'm really excited about the Palmeiras game now. I think I'm going to do a live stream. It's a 2 a.m. game, so maybe no one's going to be about. Maybe I can connect with some American fans, which is something I'd absolutely love to do. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments, guys. Do you think we're going to see Joao Pedro featuring on our left-hand side in the game against Palmeiras? Or is that just overzealous and a bridge too far too soon? I'm just going to stop the video here for a second. If you guys are enjoying the content and want to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video or subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you do, hit that little bell icon as well, because that will tell you the second I release a video if you are interested. It's starting to come together. It's been a really rough couple of weeks, right? The transfer news, obviously, we didn't get Jamie Gittins over the line for the Club World Cup. The Mike Maignan deal, oh mate, let's not even get into goalkeepers. That's another headache we've got to think about, isn't it? But I guess these are safe buys to make at the moment because it doesn't affect anyone else in the squad. We're not buying left wingers and one of our left wingers in the team is like, oh, they bought a left winger, they're going to replace me. So I get it. Focusing on the left wing during the Club World Cup completely makes sense. And then maybe when we come out of the Club World Cup, that is when we start taking a serious look at the goalkeeping situation. So I'm going to wrap it up there, guys, but hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you are all as buzzing as I am about Joao Pedro. Tell me in the comments, who do you think we're going to play in attack? Does Cole Palmer get back into that centre attacking spot? Does he get dropped because Enzo Fernandez has been doing so well recently? I will be doing a match preview with my predicted lineup, but I would love to see what you guys think as of right now, just to get lost in the hype, right? Things are happening. Yeah! Nice one, guys. I'm Matt. You've been watching the Stamford Sync. Thanks very much for sticking around, and I hope you all have a wicked day. Peace.